LaVoy Allen. At center, Jordan Hill. At the other guard position, Monte Ellis. At the other forward position, Paul George. The head coach of the visiting team is Frank Vogel. And now, your Los Angeles Lakers starting lineup. At center, standing 7 foot high, number 50, Silver. At center, standing 7 foot 2, number 28, Garbage Man. At point, standing 6 foot 4, number 6, Charles Davenport. At small forward, standing 6 foot 7, number 16, Rodney Brown.
Welcome, everyone, to this 2K Sports broadcast live in Los Angeles at the Staples Center. So for the Lakers, their last game a win against the Trailblazers in Portland. And they put it all together in that game. It added up to a phenomenal win.
Yeah, the confidence just exuding in that performance on the offensive end. I mean, really illustrates how this team clicks when guys are communicating and executing as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, roadkill is hard to get in this league. I mean, to be a great NBA team, you've got to be able to have that kind of performance on the road. Focused, purposeful, and productive. Really solid.
Here's the starting group for the Indiana Pacers. They've got Paul George. Ellis is out there with Young. Then there's LaVoy Allen. And it's Hill in at the 5, roaming the paint.
Well, clearly the Lakers were not a great team. I mean, they did have one of their better bench units last season. They led the league in points off the bench, but that was more an indictment of the quality of the starters than the firepower of the bench.
Here's the kid after Jordan Hill's bucket. Here's the kid. And the pass to Garbage Man. He dishes it to Bryant. Just 4 to shoot. No luck. Great defense that time from Ellis. Outside, George. With the second effort, and Hill finishes inside. Hill's got his second bucket.
Defensively, that possession better not start a trend because they just handed him 2 points.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Earlier, I spoke with Frank Vogel. When talking about who they'll be most concerned with on the other side, he laughed a little and asked, "You mean other than Kobe?" He said that it's an almost futile effort to try and slow Kobe because he can score in so many different ways, saying, really, all we can try and do is prevent him from getting into a rhythm and try to force him into tough shots. Guys?
Thank you, Doris. Here's Ellis, following the basket by Kobe Bryant. Ellis outside. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
You know, they've scored several times already here in the first quarter down low. I like that.
And it's like a running game in football. When you can pound the basketball inside, it also allows you to control a team's transition.
Well, for Jordan Hill, something wonderful happened to him last season. The breakthrough he'd been waiting for on his 6th year.
Yeah, Kevin, you know, it had to do, and I think correlated with him getting a chance to start games, and it blew up for him from there. Posted career-high averages across the board. Really good awareness right there on the assist.
Ellis against Bryant. Here's George, and it's blocked. Out of bounds, Pacers ball as Indiana keeps possession. And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. There's the pick. Just 5 to shoot. Shoots from the high post. They get it back.
And no excuse there for missing that one after being freed up by a great pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they came away empty, but they got the look they wanted, and really, I like the movement and communication there.
And getting back to Jordan Hill, everyone had been waiting for this. I mean, greater activity, more aggressive. Just a great job of attacking on the break.
Yeah, you know, exploding to the basket like that, Greg, just as soon as that ball was going the other way, that's exactly how you want to do it.
That was a nice replay brought to you by Kia. George with no one around. Good, and the assist goes to Ellis. George has got his first points of the night.
Superb playmaking from Monte Ellis. That dish was right on time.
The kid passes to Garbage Man. He kicks to Kobe. The dish to Brown. Passes to Davenport. Here's Millar. He's guarded by Hill. Count the bucket. 6 points for him. The Pacers have gone 50% from the field to this point, 4 of 8. Ellis kicks to George. And there's the 3-second violation.
And let's take a quick look at some stats for Paul George. He's really stood out for them over the past month. He's getting around 16 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. And for any other player putting up those numbers, we'd say they were great, but for him, they're just simply run-of-the-mill.
Sure, you know, most guys would be satisfied with that stat line, but he's built for more.
And Indiana making a change here. Mahimi's checked in. Here's Kobe. It's rebounded by Indiana. This game coming on the heels of their win against Chicago.
And in that game, guys, I mean, the beneficiaries are what was some very lackluster defense being played against them.
Agreed, guys. It was really quite shocking and disappointing how many free runs to the hoop they got.
And if you're the guy who has to guard him, it is never going to be an easy night for you.
You know, for the Pacers last season, with Paul George being out for most of the season, they knew it would be a struggle. They would go into lengthy dry spells that made it hard for them to keep pace in the East, in part because they missed Paul George's all-around brilliance and his offense.
Rodney Stuckey's checked in for Monte Ellis. Ryan against Stuckey. He feeds it to George. Pass to Young from the arc. And that one's good.
You can't afford to get him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
To the middle. A great 1-2 punch. Beautiful pass and nasty jam.
And another lead change here. How many of these are we going to have tonight?
I'm not quite sure, but I'm willing to bet it'll be more than a few.
George sets a screen for Young. Kicks it to George. It's blocked. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Here's George. Turned in an outstanding game against Chicago. 4 on the clock. Lets it fly.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
Really nice job to convert the putback opportunity there. I mean, he stayed with that play from start to finish. That's something we say about him a lot.
Lakers were awful in a lot of aspects last season. Their play at home was a major one. Greg, they just couldn't do anything at home. And I think the fans were giving up hope as well.
And given how pricey those Laker tickets are, Kevin,
yeah.
There was a lot to be salty about in Lakerland. So can't be a bottom dweller and charge that much for seats.
The pass to Garbage Man, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Allen. Well, you might have been wondering who the top scoring small forwards have been over the last 10 games. Wonder no more. Here's a peek. You take a look at Brown, leading the league in points per game. Such a great player. And, of course, Paul George down a few spots. Another guy who can get a lot of points.
I mean, tremendously gifted athletically. I mean, we're used to seeing that at that spot on the floor, and they pretty much all give astonishing individual performances on any given night.
Well, we know the small forward spot is where the bulk of the scoring load rests on most teams. I mean, those players on that list always come through in the scoring department. These guys pack a lot of firepower. You know, the Lakers were a bottom dweller last year. I mean, their home record was 12-29, guys. That was tied for the second worst mark in the NBA.
Stuckey against Bryant. George, that's a two-pointer. Lands soft on the front of the rim and drops. George has got his second basket of the night.
With that now, only 2 of 7 to start the game. Not the start he was hoping for. And you know, guys, a lot of the problems for the Lakers at home last season was with their shooting. And they had the lowest three-point percentage in the league at home. Not exactly friendly bounces for them.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that.
Timeout called the Pacers. And this is the first season matchup for them against the Lakers team.
And just couldn't make the most of their meetings last year. Ended up splitting the season series.
Yeah, you know, most teams have games where they wish they could get a mulligan or take it back. Well, last year, their one loss in this series was one I know they wanted back.
The kick out to Young. And it's off the back rim, no good.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good look. And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Time-dropping delights is what I call it.
That is a nice pass. I will give you that one.
Yeah, he was on the money, that's no doubt. Swiped it away. Now the Lakers on the break. He lobs it up, and then Brown with the dunk.
That's how you make an impact with defense. And once the steal is made, you know they're going to be scattered. The floor is open. Take care of business.
Always an advantage when you can get out in the open floor. You get much better rhythm offensively. And this lead, I think, is headed up.
George, no good.
Well, he won't miss many of those, especially with the defender not in the best of positions there.
Stuckey kicks to Young. And a kind roll that time off the rim as that one falls. Young's got 5 now.
Superb assist there. He played the role of the maestro on that one.
Both teams have it going here early and still close through the first quarter. Lakers lead by 3. And we'll be back shortly for the start of the second quarter. And talk to Monte Ellis. He says he feeds off his doubters. He loves to hear someone say what he can't do.
I think I had that all my life. I always had to prove somebody wrong, and, you know, still to this day. That's just the competitiveness that I believe my oldest brother built into me when I was little.
And Monte Ellis is still trying to prove people wrong now in Dallas after their quick exit from the playoffs a season ago. Clark, it's been a decade in the league now for this very talented guard.
And you know, that kind of relentless determination is really something Monte is known for, and one of the reasons he has been around for 10 years in the NBA as a consistently good player and lethal scorer.
Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And taking a look at Los Angeles' performance here, what have they been doing or not doing?
They come out the gates here strong and put together just a solid first quarter.
A ton of good looks for him, Greg, on offense, and it's quality shots they're getting.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. And so in the game for the Pacers, Hill is out there with Hill. Then there's Rodney Stuckey, and it's Young, and it's Mahimi in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. And that basket's going to count, folks. Gets the goaltending call right there.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for the Lakers?
Fellas.